Okay, I think we're recording now. I just wanted to say a couple of words about overuse of antibiotics, and we're all walking this tightrope these days. I had a developmentally disabled adult woman patient, we'll call her Maggie, who was at the care center. And Maggie, I started the ball rolling. They called me on a Sunday. They said, boy, she's not eating. She's not herself at all. She seems really sick and her urine stinks and it's real nasty brown. And I said, okay, so let's send a urine off. They said, well, we can't send urines on Sunday. We only have the courier come by on Mondays. I said, all right, I hate doing this, but because she feels so crummy and she seems so sick, let's start her on some antibiotics, but have them send off a urine tomorrow anyway, and let's just get a culture and see what's going on. So they started her on antibiotics, and Monday maybe she was a little bit better, but then Tuesday, oh, she just seemed really, really sick. I actually was doing rounds in there that day. I went in to see her, and she just was barely responsive and not eating, and her blood pressure was a little low, like 100/50, which is a little on the low side for her. We sent her off to the ER. The ER, of course, did the big workup, and the ER, they actually, if somebody has pneumonia, they actually track how much time it takes before somebody comes in the door until they're started on the pneumonia protocol. And because of that, unfortunately, there's a tendency for everybody to jump on that pneumonia diagnosis, and that's what happened with Margarita. She had one film. It was a seated one view chest X-ray that the radiologist reported had poor inspiratory effect, and because of this, she was labeled with pneumonia, and then thrown on a whole bunch of the pneumonia protocol antibiotics. So at this point now, she's on 3 antibiotics, and they're doing all kinds of cultures, and she gets blood cultures, and she gets urine cultures, and she gets repeat chest X-rays, and nothing really ever shows up. And she comes back to the nursing home on yet a 4th antibiotic. Let's give her a 10-day course of something, because something was wrong there, because her white blood cell count was high. So Margarita just kind of was still really puny, didn't really start eating much, and it took a while for her to kind of start to get back to normal, but then she again quit eating completely. And I went in again and did an evaluation where I, among other things, looked in her mouth, and of course what she was loaded with was thrush. I mean, this was the worst case. She just had white junk just hanging off of her palate, the inside of her cheeks, all over her tongue, and no wonder after all those antibiotics. So at this point, then we had to hit her up with massive doses of diflucan and nystatin oral suspension. And in the meantime, I finally decided to go on the search. Clearly, we really had never fixed anything because she still wasn't eating even after we fixed the thrush. And long story short, we did some CAT scans, we did some other stuff, and it turns out this woman actually had a fistula between her gallbladder and her intestine, and a gallbladder that was full of stones, and a biliary duct that was full of stones. And this is what had been her problem all along. And yet she came back loaded with antibiotics. We see this a lot at the care center. We see our patients go off because they're not very verbal, they have dementia or whatever, they don't seem right, and so then they come back with a bunch of antibiotics. The diagnosis is usually pneumonia. The chest X-ray, when the radiologist finally reads it, just says no evidence of infiltrate, and we end up with thrush and all that sequelae. Anyway, just a word about antibiotics. Just wanted to share a story.